Hello everyone. Today I am going to talk about the placement of Venus in different houses of a horoscope. How does it behave in various houses? So, see, Venus will always behave differently when it is placed in different signs also. But here in this video I am not going to talk about the placement of Venus in various signs, because for every lagna every house will possess different signs, so I am not going to take into consideration the signs here. I will only talk about what kind of results can we expect by the placement of Venus in different houses here. So the results can vary for person to person who is listening my video here. So please do not ask me why I am not getting these specified results. The results which I am going to explain here are very generalized in terms of the house placement, and the results can vary because every person can have some aspects also in their given horoscope, or they can have certain conjunctions also with Venus and many other things which can give different results to that native. And it is not always necessary that whatever results I am going to tell you will 100% apply on you, but many things would be applicable to a person. So that's what I am going to share through this video. So some of the things may match with you and some of the things may not match with you, but you will always get a fair idea how does Venus do in various houses. So before going to talk about this, let's first discuss what kind of a planet Venus is. See, Venus is a planet of love, romance, compassion, creativity, relationships, your passion, and marriage for a man, and marriage for a woman, and wife for a man. So these are the attributes which are given to planet Venus. We all know that. Now, how will it behave when it is placed in the first house? Now, the first house is your entire self, it's your personality, it's your effect on the other person, and it's your entire life. And the complexion is also to be seen from the first house. So these people are very creative through their talents, through their minds, and they are very effective in their personality. They are very fair people. They are very loving by nature. They are very peace-loving people, and they will have a very magnetic personality. They will be very attractive people if Venus is present in the first house. Now, Venus also gives you management abilities. So these people will be very, very good in management-related matters, and they will always try to keep their own selves very effective, very prim and proper, and they will always like to keep their surroundings also very beautified. So they love organized things and things in structure. So you will never see them in a very messy conditions unless Venus is in a sign of its enemy. Then the results can vary, but here Venus by and large will give you all the good traits related to your personality and related to your thought process and how you would like to lead your life. And it will also save you guard from any kind of difficulties or any kind of accidents, and it will always protect you from difficult situations in life or from injuries by being in the lagna itself. So it's a good placement, and it will always give you comforts also throughout your life. It will make sure that you live in a comfortable surrounding. Now, the second house placement of Venus is again considered as very good, because in the Kalpurush, Venus controls the second house and the seventh house. So here, when it is placed, it will do you a lot of good. It will help you in your wealth creation. It will give you more females in the family. It will give you very beautiful eyes, very beautiful face, very beautiful speech, and the family members would also have love amongst themselves, because Venus is present here in the second house. Unless it is afflicted, it will not give you bad results. It will give you all good results, and the person will have good amount of wealth also with this placement. And they will be always very soft spoken, and sometimes whatever they will say will come out to be true also, because from the second house the person will have that Vak Siddhi kind of blessings. So whatever you will say will come out to be true. And here it will aspect your 8th house, so it will give you a long life also. Now, when Venus comes to the 3rd house, it is not considered very good in terms of relationships and in terms of marital satisfaction, because 3rd is the 8th of 8th, so it is the reflection of the 8th house. So these people will have problems in their marriages, and they can have more than one relationship also, and these people can face sudden difficulties related to females also. So they have to be very careful when Venus is placed in the 3rd house. But from here it will give you good creative abilities, because from the 3rd house also we see our creative talents. It will give you very good communication abilities also. You will have beautiful handwriting, or you can be a very good very good painter. So any kind of soft skill would be very good in you if you have Venus in the 3rd house. Here you will have more female siblings, and your neighbors would be very good, or your neighborhood would be very beautiful, very surrounding. You would always undertake short travels to very beautiful places, and you will have a good understanding, good bonding with your siblings with this placement. So it will give you very good abilities to sing also, because from the 3rd house comes the singing abilities also. Of course, singing abilities can be seen from the 2nd house also, the voice can be seen from the 2nd house, but the singing abilities can be seen through the 3rd house. So it's a good placement for giving you talents. Now, when Venus goes to the 4th house, it is very good placement, because now it is in the Kendra. So in the angle or in the Kendra, it will do you a lot of good in terms of all the karakas of Venus. You will have lots of comforts, you will have lots of emotional satisfaction, you will be very loving by heart, you will have very close bonding with your relatives, or with you will have some very good close friends, and you will have very beautiful homes. Your mother would be very good looking, you will have comforts coming through your mother, through your home, and you can have creativity related education. You will do well in studies also with this kind of placement. And from here Venus is aspecting your 10th house, so it will give you cordiality in your career also. So you can have career related to cinema industry, or related to the things which Venus is holding. It could give you computer related skills also, because Venus, I have seen, gives somebody a talent of computers also. You can go into automobile industry also. Of course, these areas you can study also as a part of your education. So it does a lot of good. The person will be good in studies, and you will have your own home also, and you will get the happiness of your home comforts and your own home. So it does you good here. Now, if Venus goes to the 5th house, 5th house is all about your creative abilities, your stage talent. So these people can be very good stage artists, they can be very good cinema artists, they can be very effective speakers also. And 5th house is also about love and romance, so they can have more than one liaisons. And 5th house is also about your about your children, so you will have more female children, or your children could be very beautiful. And 5th house is also your intelligence, so you will be very intelligent, very sharp in studies, because of the placement of Venus here. If there is affliction, then the results can vary, but otherwise it will give you very good results. And now from the 5th house, Venus is aspecting your 11th house, so it increases your wealth also, and it gives you good amount of your social standing also. So you will have lots of I would say contacts which will come out handy for you in the time of need, and you will be very influential to a large gathering of people when Venus is placed in your 5th house. So it's a very good placement. By being in the Lakshmi Sthan and by being in the 5th house, it will do you a lot of good here. So good for achieving high position in life also. Now when Venus comes to the 6th house, this is the only placement for Venus which is not considered as good, because 6th house is all about diseases, difficulties, and Venus being the karka of all the happiness, all the comforts of life in the 6th house, all the karkas of Venus will now suffer. The person will have problems in his relationship. The relationships will never give him peace. Men could have problems in their married lives with their wives, and female can have problems in their marriages. Now you can have problems related to females, maybe at workplace, or you could be working with females at your work. That can also be possible, and they will give you problems because Venus is a karka of females here. Now Venus for a female can give her gynecological or female related issues prior to her marriage when it is in the 6th house, and after her marriage her health will improve drastically. Now for the Aries ascendant and for the Scorpio ascendant, Venus is the lord of their 7th house, and by being placed in the 6th house it will destroy the happiness of marriage. Either the marriage will not succeed or the person may remain unmarried with this placement. So you have to do the remedies of Venus when it is placed in the 6th house, but it will give you good things also. See, the 6th house related difficulties will be handled very well by Venus here, and competitions which comes from the 6th house, you will always excel in competitions. You will be lucky in terms of competition. And 6th house is also about your day-to-day life, about your work life. So your work life will be cordial. It will be in very peaceful surroundings, or your work life could involve your dealing with females. That can also be possible. Or you're dealing with things related to Venus. You could have to do work related to karkas, significators of Venus when it is placed in your 6th house. So there could be various interpretations, but the houses to which Venus is controlling will suffer by its placement in the 6th house. But you will have very good servants here when Venus is in the 6th house. Now, when Venus goes to the 7th house, it is good in certain respects and bad in certain respects. It is also considered as Karko Bhavai Nashai in the 7th house, which means Venus is the Karak, significator of the 7th house, and when it sits there, it will destroy the significations. So here the person will become very lustful. The person will always be running after relationships, and he will be never satisfied with that. Now it will give you a very good spouse, because now Venus is sitting in its own karka house. It will give you very good spouse. The spouse will be very good looking, very pretty, very loving, very compassionate, but the native himself will be very lustful, and that would be the cause of his problems in his marriage. So sometimes these people may never marry, and if they happen to marry, they will have problems, and also their spouse can face problems, or they can face some health related issues with this kind of placement of Venus. It is good for your business related dealings or for things related to partnerships. It is very good, and Venus is aspecting here on the Lagna, so the person will also be very attractive, very magnetic in their personality, unless Venus is under affliction. In that case, the results will be varied. Otherwise, it will give you good results when it aspects your Lagna, and the person can be very immaculate and very good in their appearance. Now, when Venus goes to the 8th house, this is not a bad placement for Venus, because here Venus will first of all safeguard from suddenness of events which comes from the 8th house. So it will safeguard from accidents, it will safeguard from chronic diseases, it will give you a long life, and it will give you unearned wealth. It is very good for inheritance. Now the 8th house is the second of your 7th. 7th is your spouse, so it will be the wealth of your spouse. So which means you will marry a wealthy spouse, or your spouse may be earning very well. Now it is also the speech of your spouse. So which means your spouse will be very soft spoken in his speech or in her speech towards others, but it is your 8th house. So when it comes to you, your spouse will be very rude towards you. It is not good for the happiness of marriage when Venus is placed in the 8th house. Sometimes very big saints are also formed when Venus is in their 8th house, or you can go into healing industry when Venus is in the 8th house, and it will give you very good tendencies for research or for occult field when it is in your 8th house. So it will give somebody a peaceful ending of their life when it is placed in the 8th house, and from here it is aspecting your 2nd house. So it gives you happiness and wealth in your family and a very soft speech. So it will give you good things in life, but the karkas of Venus will suffer when it is in the 8th house. So the relationships will suffer, the marital happiness will suffer, the spousal, for men, their wives related happiness will suffer when Venus is in the 8th house. So the karkas will always suffer by being in the trik houses, but the trik house related activities will always flourish when a benefic planet is present in the trik houses or the dusthana houses. Now when Venus is placed in your 9th house, it is not good for marriage, because 9th house is all about religion. The person could be overly religious, because of which the person's marital happiness will suffer. The person would be too much into doing the daily rituals of prayers, and it can give sufferings to marriage. Or 9th house is also about the court, so the person can take his marriage to court. So it is not good for the happiness of marriage. But at the same time, I would say when Venus is in your 9th house, your deeds would be good. You will have very understanding, compassionate gurus. You will be able to have higher education or higher knowledge or spirituality related knowledge, and you will have luck coming through foreign countries. You will have happiness coming through foreign travels, and it is good for foreign travels, and you would be passionate for foreign travels, and it will also improve your luck when it is in the 9th house. Now when Venus is in the 10th house, the relationships are going to be plenty. The person will be getting lots of happiness through relationships. He will form relationships easily. The person could be into a career which is associated with Venus, which means you could be into cinema industry, you could be into automobile industry, you could be into finance industry, or you could be into something creative, or you could be a doctor also, because Venus is also about healings. Friends, let me also tell you, Venus is the only planet which can give you many professions. Unlike other planets, Venus can give you multiple professions. So almost everything can be included in Venus's professions, but the typical of Venus could be creative industry or something related to healing industry. So these are the typical traits, means professions for Venus, but it can give you many professions by being in the 10th house. Now it will give you a good social standing also. Now when Venus goes to the 11th house, it will always increase your income. You will be very well paid, and you will have huge amount of gains or income. You will have a very loving elder sibling. Your wishes will always get fulfilled, and you will get happiness through your friend circle also. You will have lots of female friends, or your friends could be very creative and they can be very affectionate towards you. So you will be lucky in terms of your wishes and in terms of making an impact on others. So Venus related things will always give you gains, will always give you happiness. So if you are thinking of doing some work, see what planet is present in your 11th house, and those planets, those karkas of those planets will always fetch you gains. So try to work on those areas where the planets are present in the 11th house. Now if Venus is present in your 12th house, it is again not a bad combination, because 12th house will give you lots of comforts related to your sleep. The person can have happiness coming through abroad. These people will like to spend, here Venus will help you in saving. See, benefics in the 12th house will help you save your money. So you will only spend your money on the things of necessity, or on the things which are associated with your comforts. Only on those things you will spend your money, else you will try to safeguard your money by Venus's placement in the 12th house. But now here the karka of Venus will suffer, which means these people can be very lustful. These people will always run after pleasures of bed. These people can also be very good dancers, because Venus in the 12th house of feet can give you very good rhythmic movements. These people can be very good healers. They can be very good occultists also. They can be very good creative people also. They can write very well, because from the 12th house comes your imaginative abilities also. And these people can be very good healers also. So you can go into these fields if Venus is present here, or you can get happiness coming through abroad or foreign related matters. But the karka of Venus will suffer on some account. The person can have problems related to his marital happiness or related to his relationships. I have seen couple of charts where Venus is in the 12th house. They have led a very peaceful marital life, but after a certain period of time they had breakdown in their marriages, because Venus also is a karka of marriage, and in the 12th house one will suffer losses also. So it will give mixed results by being in the 12th house. So friends, this was all about the placement of Venus in various houses. I hope you must have liked the video. So please do motivate me and press the like button and share it with your friends, and do subscribe if you are a new viewer to my channel. Thank you all for listening, and I'll see you very soon.